Welcome. We're going to make some face cream today. I've made this face cream for many people over many years. I use the things that my skin will tolerate. Okay, so the first step in making your own face cream or any other type of cosmetic is to get something that is very clean. So I have a saucepan and I have boiled some water. And the water, you can slightly see it's up to temperature. I know that having a water that boils is going to be nice and clean. Now things need to be pasteurized at the boiling temperature, and I use 20 minutes. That may be too long, that may be too short, but I don't think so. I think this has worked very well for me for a lot of years. So I am going to clean everything that is going to touch the oils. Notice that I have the used container, and that's going to be boiled with the lid. And I also have put the toothpick in there that I'm going to use for stirring. I've just put the side in that I'm going to use to actually stir. While we're waiting for everything to be cleaned up in the boiling water, I always have a question about, well, what do you use to clean your countertops? And what do you use to clean the top of the stove to make sure that that's clean? And what about the pan itself and the lid? What do you use? Well, I like to use Dr. Bronner's Lavender Pure Castile Soap. All of the mints are toxic. So you want to be careful when you're using those, especially essential oils, that you are wearing gloves and not necessarily getting that on your skin so that you can take it up. Luckily, you have a lot of body weight, so you won't actually feel the effects and pass out. But if you were to use a pure mint oil, you need to be careful. That's why Dr. Bronner's has lavender essential oils, but it's also in carriers of quite a few different oils. So I use that. You follow the directions. You need to dilute it. And then that will kill fungus and bacteria and viruses. So I have cleaned my counter space with Dr. Bronner's. I have wiped the top of all of my oils that I have, and there's the Rose Auto in the right. Notice it's in a dark glass, and it's an essential oil. It's an organic essential oil. I did buy it from Lunaruma in South Burlington, Vermont. It's a nice little store. They have an online presence, and I have found that they actually know where their sources come from, and when I question them, they have a nice trail of, yes, I am getting the actual essential oil that I wish to purchase. And you notice I also bought my apricot kernel oil from them too. So I like to know where my things are coming from, and especially when you're making a product that you're going to put on your body. And remember, your skin is the largest organ of your body, and everything that you put on your skin is going to be absorbed into your body and then into the systems within your body. So I find the coconut oil is very good for my skin with the apricot oil. You may notice I'm not using different types of oil, and that's because I have a sensitivity to certain things that I can't put on my skin, which if you're paying attention, you might learn that the hard way. I certainly did. So you want things that you know you can tolerate. So what do? You put whatever it is you're making on the inside of your wrist, on the inside of your arm, and you wait 24 hours, and you leave it there, and you take a good look at your skin. Is your skin okay? Are you tolerating this? And when you're going to put something on your face, you also want to start with a small area and wait to see if you're going to have a reaction. Pay attention to what you're putting on your skin. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to, are you having any skin rashes? Are you having blistering? That would be a big no-no. So I like to clean things with Dr. Bronner's. I do my floors. I do all of my various areas. Okay, you can hear the boiling of the glass container in the background. And while we're doing that, I've taken a paper towel and I've dipped it into the hot water, and I'm going to clean all of the surfaces of everything just to make sure there's no dust, just to make sure that I'm not going to be introducing anything. And this, I'm wearing my gloves because that water is boiling, and I just want to make sure that I have removed everything that I can remove so that it'll be nice and clean. All right, it's been 20 minutes, so I'm going to remove my implements that I'm going to use, and I am putting them on a nice laundered, spent through the washer and the dryer, a napkin, and I am going to put all of these things on here so that I know that they're as clean as I can keep them. Okay, and then I'm going to put this upside down. Okay, and then hazy, hot, and humid today, so I'm going to cap this, and I usually use the boiled water, and I use that for my plants. So now I have my ingredients. I have the vitamin E, and I'm going to use the knife to puncture the vitamin E so that I can squeeze that in. I've actually dipped this into the boiling water, which I think I should probably do again, just to make sure that the tip has, if it has anything on it, that I at least make attempt to take off the stuff that I don't want on there. So I'm going to let this drain just a little bit. Maybe I'll tap it. It's nice and hot, so I'm going to dissipate that heat. Okay, and here we go. So I am going to use, let me put this up closer. I'm going to use the spoon to get the amount of oil that I want. Now, what do we use for that? I'm going to use this, and I'm going to take a half of one of these because I know what I like for my face. Now, the ratio that you use will depend on what you want to do with your face. I don't mind it that it's liquid this time of year, it's hot, but I am going to put it in the refrigerator and after I stir it and let it solidify. Now, some people like to have a lot of coconut oil in it because they want it to be a cream that they can spread. If you have too much of the liquid oil, in this case it would be almond oil, then you're going to have something that's more of a liquid. So you have to decide what it is you want. So I know from my experience with this, and if it's solid, a lot of times it will be solid because it's at room temperature. I know how many spoonfuls I'm going to use. Now, I'm not going to fill the entire thing. I don't want to make that much, especially in the summer when it's hot and humid, and that's going to increase, the temperature will increase the rate of things that I may not want in there, okay, from rapidly dividing. So I don't want that. Oops, I didn't open this. Okay. So remember, I have opened this before prior, and I have cleaned it off to the best of my ability with what I'm using. Okay, now I'm going to use the amount that I think I would like in here. Okay, so if it were winter time and my coconut oil was a solid, I would put this into the water, and after it had boiled, I would turn off the water and then put the coconut oil, which would be a solid, and then it'll melt very quickly. So I have this and I have this. Now I'll have to turn this off to be able to do the rose auto, because you're going to turn it upside down and you're going to tap, and you're going to watch it very carefully from the top to make sure that you can see it come out by the drop. Now I'm going to use 3 drops in here because I know that that is the rate that I will like in my product. I like it to smell like rose because there's so many helpful things about rose that are good for your skin, and it's been used for thousands of years. But do make sure that you tolerate the rose or any other essential oil that you're planning to put in there. And do remember that if you are using anything in the mint family, peppermint, spearmint, lavender, any of those sorts of things, that it can be toxic. So historically, lavender flowers and lavender oil and all of the various types of mint were used to knock down the bacteria on your body. This, I'm using a very small repurposed jar. This is Tiger Balm, I believe. There we go. And I'm not putting very much in there. You can see that. I put about half full. And that's what I usually make because that's what I can use in a certain amount of time. I don't want it to sit around for months. I don't have any preservatives in here except for a little bit of vitamin E, and that's not really going to do anything if I put in dirty hands. So I'm going to wash my hands and then I'm going to put it out onto my face.